Hey everyone, I'm back and today we're going to be talking about 12 Angry Men, and this movie came out in 1957. And the plot for this movie is that there are 12 jurors. I think that's how you pronounce it. I might be wrong on that, but point is there are 12 of them and they're deciding whether or not this kid is guilty for killing his father. And 11 of them say guilty, but one says not guilty, and the whole movie takes place in one room basically. There's like 4 locations in the entire movie, and it's a very small scale, but I think the movie does a really great job at making itself compelling. It's an hour and a half long, and it's awesome. Where I'm going to start my positives is basically at the beginning of the movie, and it's pretty much the introduction of each character in this movie, and really, when it's introducing you to every character in the movie, it's all done in one take, and it's really well executed. You get a great sense of each character's personality, and you really feel as though you know everything there is to know about each of these characters, and very few of them are given names, and you don't really get names to these characters until the very end of the movie, and it's only for like 2 characters, and that's it. And I feel as though each of those characters were just a means to show you each perspective of how you could view this case of this boy being either guilty or not guilty. And they really go through like each and every possibility of whether he is guilty or not guilty. And the movie is very engaging. It keeps going. It never wastes any time, and our main character is constantly questioned on whether or not he's right about saying not guilty, and he keeps defending himself, and he just goes by the possibilities of whether or not it's right or wrong to kill this kid. And even if he is guilty, they can't prove that entirely. They can only decide whether or not to execute him or not, and that's really just what the movie is. And the movie acknowledges that if they say not guilty and he actually is guilty, then there's nothing that they can do about it. It's in the past. He got away with it. But I feel as though the movie did a very clever job at asking a lot of questions about this case, and I think that it was very well done. I kind of want to go to the characters and to talk about each of their perspectives. And first I'm going to briefly mention them. At the beginning of the movie, it's pretty much 11 to 1, as in 11 guilty and 1 not guilty, and they explain why they feel as though the boy is guilty. And I think that was a great scene, and there's lots of great scenes in this movie, and each of those characters that talked, you felt as though you knew them. And one of them, it just literally says, I can't really describe it, but I just know that the boy is guilty. And another one is like, is very experienced and is very old, and all he does is just, you can tell he's guilty just by looking at him. That boy is guilty. You also have a character who does not care one bit on whether this kid is guilty or not guilty. And that's because he has tickets to watch a baseball game, and he just wants to get out of there as quick as possible and just be like, and just get it over with. And that's kind of how a lot of the characters are at the beginning, and they just want to get out of there. They're sick and tired of waiting. It's like the hottest day of the year, and they're all sweating. And as the movie goes along, you really do feel as though each character is just sweating they're exhausted from being and talking about this case for so long. But you also have another character who is more interested in his business and advertising than anything, at least at the beginning of the movie. And another thing I want to bring up is, as the movie goes along, these men start to switch their perspectives and say, maybe he's possibly not guilty. Maybe that's not the case. And it's very interesting in how our main character kind of wins these other characters over. And I thought it was very interesting. And some of them are just really, really tough to beat and get through to. And I can't really say much else about these characters because then I would be getting into spoiler territory. And one more thing, actually I can say one more thing. Our main character does acknowledge that he might be wrong. He might be wrong in the fact that this kid might be guilty, but the reason why he's his main motivation for why he's exploring the possibilities of why he might not be guilty is because he says at the beginning of the movie that he just doesn't feel comfortable just letting a kid die just like that without at the very least talking about it. And that's about all I can say about 12 Angry Men. It's really great. It sounds like it might be kind of a dull movie, but when you actually watch it, it's nowhere near as boring as it could be. And I would highly recommend that you check this movie out, and make sure you don't watch the 1997 version. I watched the first 20 minutes of it before I shut it off. It was just so bad. I was irritated watching that version. So don't watch that version. Watch this one. I'm really trying to think of problems that I have with this movie, and I can't think of anything I didn't like. The only real, if I were to find anything, just anything at all with this movie that I would consider a bit of a flaw, is that you could see the camera shadow in one of the shots. It's very nitpicky, and it's like the only thing that I can say is wrong with the movie. But aside from that, I don't have any issues with this movie. Highly recommend that you check this movie out. And I'm going to give 12 Angry Men a 10 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos as always. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of 12 Angry Men down below. The original, 1957, not the remake. And my social media links, they will all be in the description down below, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up. And that's going to be for Die Hard with a Vengeance. I've never seen it. I've seen 1, 2, and 4, never 3 or 5. But until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.